Hello and welcome. This is Social Studies, Voices Across America. I'm Bill Wood.
And I'm Peter Goldsmith.
And I can't tell you how far we are from norm today, but this is going to be cool, right, Peter?
Absolutely, Bill. This is fun. Cool for us. May not be cool for you guys watching us, but you're actually going to see who we are and hear us to boot.
Yeah, we're in a park in West LA. We wanted to take some time while Peter was in Los Angeles and just sit down and have a conversation. A lot of things are happening now in both of our lives. You've already left New York to go to North Carolina, and I'm thinking of leaving Southern California to go to Ohio. And I imagine those are conversations that people that are watching us have had quite a bit lately.
Oh, yeah. And you know, Bill, the funny thing is after you retire or you semi-retire or whatever, and you decide, well, maybe there's a new life in store for me, but how can I move? I mean, I've lived here for 41 years. I've got 48 boxes in this house. My kids grew up here. This happened here. This happened there. I don't know. I can't move. I don't know. And finally, when you go, you know what? I think maybe I can move, and you move, you find out how wonderful it is to create a second life for yourself in another place you thought you'd never be. In my case, North Carolina. I never thought I'd live in North Carolina. As you know, my life was pretty much New York City, LA, New York City. And now that I've moved and find how wonderful these other places are, I don't know that I'd move back here.
It is a thing. I've lived in Los Angeles all of my adult life since September 12th, 1967. I moved out here to go to college and stayed. Life kept me here, family and jobs and all of that sort of thing. So I am trying to recover, you know, and what happens is that you get tired of being in this world and trying to fight the traffic, fight the expense. In fact, when I was coming over to pick you up, I listened to a 15-minute conversation about rent control.
Yeah, and I only live across the street, so 15 minutes was a real bear.
With traffic, yeah, right. So, you know, you look at what do you call it, AARP, the magazine.
Sure.
And every so often, practically every edition, they'll have 10 places you want to live. Mm-hmm. And those places are not New York and Los Angeles.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, that we have places like Cincinnati, Ohio. Even Cincinnati is becoming an urban center.
Yeah.
And they're talking about suburban Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh as well.
Right. So we're trying to figure out how to live, how to be in a different world, how to be in a different reality, how to be in a different space and time, and not have to fight helicopters and police and traffic and so forth.
Yeah. You know, Bill, I think it boils down to, and this is maybe a little cliched, but I think it's true. Who do you want to be, and who are you now? What's important to you? What do you really need in your life? What do you want to bring to your life? And where can you best do that? For many of us, for me, one of the reasons I'm out here in Los Angeles, as you know, I have some grandkids who live out here. So, of course, I want to come out here several times a year and be with them and hang out with them and so forth and so on. But, you know, you find that much of what you really thought was important as a younger guy, 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, is no longer that important to you now. And with the advent of the digital age, I know my students are laughing when I bring this up, but, you know, you want something, get it in 2 days from Amazon. You want to watch a movie, you can go on Netflix and watch a movie, or 20 other places I probably don't know about. But there are things which are available to you culturally to take care of your life. You know, Bill, I'm a vegan. I've been a vegan for almost 50 years now. and it was being very strange to be a vegan and you don't eat meat and so forth and so on. I live in a very small town in western North Carolina, and when I walk into a restaurant and say I'm a vegan, they go, yeah, sure, what would you like? So those things are really taken care of. There's nothing unusual about that anymore. Culture is all over the place. You can see films, and you can see dance, and you can see theater, and you can see art, and so forth and so on. You can shop anywhere you want. Within 50 miles of almost everyone now are the whole pantheon of stores that my wife spends far too much time in, and things of that nature. So the New Yorks and LAs and Miamis are really not that as important as they were to you years ago when you were out, eating in a different restaurant every couple of days and going to clubs and seeing the latest movie the day it broke and so forth and so on. So I think that's a real discussion that you want to have with yourself. Who am I now? Who would I like to become? And where would I like to do all this?
Who am I now, in fact, is the conversation that all of us want to have with ourselves. When you look in the mirror in the morning, what are my needs now? Mm-hmm. Where do I want to go? How do I want to get there? You mentioned a couple of things that I thought were pretty important. We spend time, when we want to shop, we shop more online.
Oh, sure.
So when you want to go shopping, you don't have to get dressed and go to the mall unless you just want to socially see people and be a part of the culture.
Yeah.
But if you want to just go buy a book, you don't have to go to Barnes & Noble or any other bookstore. Just go online and buy the book, and in a day or so, it's right there.
Yeah.
And I just bought 2 books, in fact, and, one of them I got and started reading it before the second book arrived. So, and so and culture, you're right, culture is anywhere you are in reality. Once you decide who you are, if you decide that you're Greenwich Village, then that's where you ought to be. But if you decide that you want to live in a different reality, in a different world, in a different space and time, then find out where that space and time is and go there and enjoy it, because we're at a point in our lives where we want to. I don't say we're at the end, but we can choose. Yeah. We have decisions now that we could make. Yeah. And our careers, you and I, our careers kept us in Los Angeles and New York. For me, I had a chance to go to Chicago once, and the guy told me, he said, well, where do you live? Well, I live north of town. I said, well, how do you get to work? I said, well, I take a car to the boat, and the boat to the train, and the train to a cab, and I'm at work. It takes about an hour. And I just looked at him, and you want me to do that?
Yeah.
He said, Yeah, so I ended up staying in Los Angeles for 50 years. And, now I'm at a point where, how much longer do I want to do this? How much longer coming to get you? The GPS said it was 11 miles away, and I planned for an hour, and it took about 59 minutes of that hour to pull up in front of where you were. 11 miles.
Yeah.
They say, when people tell you that the average speed on the LA freeways is about 26 miles an hour, you don't realize that until you're sitting in 11 miles an hour.
Anyone who's ever been here, and LA has a lot of wonderful things. It really does. But I'll tell you, one of the worst things it has is traffic, and it's impossible, and you need to almost structure your life around the traffic, which is something I refuse to do. I'm not going to do it. We all learn surface streets and we all learn easy ways, but for me, that's too big of a price to pay. For some people, it may not be. But I want to talk about culture a little bit here, Bill, because culture. What is culture? Oh well, I live in New York. I go to museums all the time. Really? And why do you only go to those museums? Are you interested in old culture? Are you not interested in what young people are making now? Are you not interested in new conventions digitally, performance art-wise? Let's stop, thinking, the Mona Lisa, I go see the Mona Lisa. No, so what? So you saw the Mona Lisa. Not that it's not wonderful, not that Leonardo's not one of the most important artists. We can go all the way down the line and so forth. You saw David Hockney, you saw whomever you want to, say. I've been to a performance, so forth and so on. There are new, different, other things being done, and they are valuable if we give them value. If we don't, they don't have value. There is plenty of performance being done right now in LA by really important artists. I have a good friend out here, John Malpede. John does theater for and with homeless people. It's a wonderful concept that gets a lot of things done. It's important to see. There's graffiti, there's street art, there's tons of stuff, and it's springing up all over. I live in Asheville, or I live in the mountains outside of Asheville, North Carolina. I actually live 20 miles away, but my center is Asheville. There's stuff there that's just wonderful. There's music, old-time music, which is being played by 18, 20, 25-year-old kids in a new, different kind of way. There's new jazz, there's new painting, there's new writing, there's new everything. And because of this digital interconnectivity, which we all have now, it's springing up all over the world. Nobody can afford to live in Manhattan or LA anymore. It's impossible. I have a friend looking to buy a house here in LA, in a certain area in Santa Monica to be exact. He can't find anything that's decent for under $1 million. Where I live, for
That used to be a lot of money.
Where I live, $1 million buys you probably, I don't know, 10 acres and a 6-bedroom house. I live in a beautiful little wonderful house. It's not worth, maybe it's a fifth of that, and it's certainly sufficient for us. And so I think you need to rethink what's real for you and what's really in your life for you. What's important? Certainly family, at least for me it is, and I know for you it is as well. Certainly I want to be near my grandkids, which is why I come out to Los Angeles. I'm not going to say anything bad about Los Angeles. I got three or four more days out here. I want to escape unscathed. But truthfully, the things out here are wonderful and beautiful. They're not, for me, important enough to live out here. It's very expensive. It's very difficult. It's very tension-filled living, as opposed to so many other places in the country that are not that are easier to take, that are, and again, you've got almost everything that's here almost is there, with the exception of the top quality stuff is not. I can't see the great Philharmonic in New York. I can't see the great dance companies in LA and here. I can't go to the great Museum of Modern Art or the Whitney or even LACMA out here or MoCA or any of the other places that I always visit when I'm out here. But as far as smaller galleries, which are, wonderful out here, fantastic, there are great ones there too. So I think it's a case of personal preference and where you want to go. Who do you want to be? How do you want to spend the last third, hopefully, of your life? What's important to you, and how are you going to spend it, and what are you going to do? I mean, to me, that's the question.
Many years ago, I made up in my mind that the best place for me to live would have been in a mountain, looking at the ocean, because I love water, but I don't want to live in the sand. About an hour from the international airport, and about an hour from a major university.
Yeah.
And that way you could handle travel, you could handle culture, because at some point at a major university, everything is going to come and be a part of your world eventually. And in the mountains looking at the ocean, for me, that was just a perfect way I wanted to live. So through the years, I've found a couple of places like that. There's a couple of places in New Hampshire, and there was one that my daughter lived in for a while, Bellingham, Washington.
Which I know very well.
And I wanted to live there. In fact, I went up to visit her one summer and spent about 10 days. And if she would have stayed there, I'd be living there now because I fell in love with the place. It met all my criteria.
Yeah, Bellingham Bay is beautiful.
Yeah. And what really a curious thing hit me when we went out for brunch on a Sunday, drove right up to the front door, parked at the front door of the place. This was a Sunday. at 1 o'clock in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah.
We sat next to the window, watched the boats go by outside, got back in the car, and in 20 minutes we were home. No wait. If we would have done that in Los Angeles, it would have been 45-minute wait to an hour, and we would have been caught in traffic if we'd have found a place to park in the parking lot. I mean, it was...
And you would have burned $72 worth of gas, and you would have had to ask your daughter to split the brunch fee with you.
Yeah, right.
Because it's 4 times more than it is in Bellingham.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that alone, if you go to the Marina Del Rey here in Southern California, for the same kind of atmosphere, you're going to, wait 45 minutes to an hour.
Absolutely.
If you could get on the wait list at all. So I fell in love with that. There are other places, but Bellingham was affordable. There were places along the Washington coast south of Seattle. The one great thing that I loved about Bellingham, in addition, was you were only 45 minutes from the Vancouver airport.
Right.
And the city of Vancouver is one of the great cities in the world. So Seattle is a nice city, but we were like an hour and a half from the Seattle airport, maybe 45 minutes from downtown Seattle. We went to a baseball game. My son came up. We spent some time together, family time together. And we went to a baseball game. 3 rows from the field, sitting. We were just beyond the visitors' dugout. All 3 of us, I think it was $120.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything was affordable. We went, my daughter, my granddaughter, and her boy, my daughter's boyfriend, 4 of us went to a Dodger game. I don't know when it was, a year or so ago, and bought the tickets online. They weren't spectacular tickets, but they were good tickets, just halfway between third base and the foul pole. $400.
Yeah, I mean,
$400.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
That opens up a whole other thing, Bill. And you and I have had this discussion. Yankee Stadium, when they built it, had seats that were $2,500 a seat. Okay, so people say, well, you can get all the food you want. Yeah, well, how much food you want to eat? $4? The point is, to me, that's a philosophical decision. It has nothing to do with whether you can afford it or not. I mean, in a way it does, because you can say to your sweetheart, hey, would you like to go to the Yankee game for $5,000 for 2 seats, or would you like to go to Bermuda for the week? Okay, see what your sweetheart says, boy or girl, see what they say. Okay, but the point there also is, we go back to culture. We're changing culture. Baseball is a perfect example of that. When I was a kid, I would go to the baseball game with my family, and it was nothing. I don't know what you paid. I was a kid, but it wasn't any money. But now it's become a corporate sport. Now we've allowed our culture to be corporatized. Who can afford $2,500 for a baseball game? Unless you're a wealthy businessman buying seats for clients from out of town. You're not sitting there. They have actually, when no one bought the seats, I think they reduced them to $1,200 or something like that. My point is, who are we becoming? What is so important about all this money? All money is giving us is a little bit of a false sense of security, because you can have all the money in the world, and then when it's your time, it's your time. So to live for money,
and none of that money goes with you.
None of it's going with you.
Despite what the Egyptians tried to do.
I was going to say, you could sew it into your shroud, but honey, it ain't traveling. Money don't travel real well. We have a false set of security if we have some money. Nothing against money, and money's certainly wonderful, and it does pay your bills, and you can leave a little of it to those you love, and it will bring you a better, easier life. No question about that. No one's arguing that. But do you really need to have a $100,000 car? And I say that because being where I live, you see mostly pickup trucks, Chevrolets, and a lot of Priuses, okay? Or Prius, whatever the plural.
Prius.
Yeah, Prius. Out here, a $100,000 Mercedes is like a 3-year-old Chevrolet where I live. I've been out here 6.5 weeks, as you know. I've seen at least 25 Rolls-Royce convertibles, at least 25 Rolls-Royce and Bentley hardtops. I've seen Lamborghinis, Ferraris, you name it. Porsches. I don't even look at the Porsches anymore. Maybachs. It's like, what's going on? What are we trying to tell each other? I'm okay? You know, because you're rich doesn't mean you're okay.
We're getting close to the end here, so let's wrap it up. Too much stuff is starting to happen. I guess the L.A. gods are telling us you talked long enough.
Right.
Two old guys in the park.
That's not at all. They don't mind the two guys in the park, but you guys aren't union. You're trying to work non-union in the park, so you can't. And we both know about working union and non-union. Let's leave it at that, Bill.
Let's leave it. I don't know. The statute of limitations may not have run out on some of the stuff.
Exactly.
All right, here we are in the park in L.A., a beautiful little pocket park right in the center of a working-class neighborhood. You talked about Porsches and Maybachs, and I'm sitting here looking at two Ford trucks and a Ram truck, and there's a BMW and a couple of BMWs over there. I think the nannies have the BMWs.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So, all right, let's see if this works, Peter. We tried something different, and let's see if it works. And if it doesn't, what the heck, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, we gave it a shot.
Absolutely.
We're here in Los Angeles. I'm Bill Wood.
I'm Peter Goldsmith.
Take care of each other, respect each other, enjoy your life.
Peace.